Hi, welcome to the Mom series of Misunderstanding of Multiplicity. Happy spring, everyone. I wanted to quickly come to you and tell you about a movie that I hope everyone will go see. And I wanted to backtrack a little bit and explain why I was not too excited about it in 2010, but I am now. The name of the movie is Frankie and Alice. Comes out April 4th, which many of you may know the story of Frankie and Alice from 2010. If you didn't see it in 2010, please go see it now. It was limited release in 2010. The production went on between 2008 and 2009. It was released in 2010 to a limited theater and viewing audiences. Excuse me. And even with that limited viewing, it still grabbed enough notoriety to snag attention for a Golden Globe and Oscar nominations for the film and for Halle Berry. Halle Berry plays, it's based on a true story of Francine Lucinda Burdock, who was raised in the 50s in Savannah, Georgia. And her mother worked as a maid in a southern home. And by 1973, their family relocates to Los Angeles, and Frankie, which everyone calls her for short instead of Francine, is a very bright, articulate 32-year-old woman who ends up becoming a stripper slash exotic dancer. And she happens to be one of the highest paid and most popular requested dancers where she's working. She makes a lot of money. She's able to take care of herself very well, but money keeps disappearing. Her mother is played by Felicia Rashad, beautifully. Her mother, Edna. Her sister is played by Chandra Wilson, wonderfully. Maxine. They're really baffled by, at times, her outbursts in behavior, and at other times her disappearance and not being able to really tell the truth of where she was, because she really doesn't know. So she's having blackouts. Meanwhile, what I saw back in 2010 was, this is where the movie kind of sneaks up on you. The opening trailer was of her dancing, then in the back explaining to a girl how she dances, where she goes in her head, and then she's slugging down it looks like a fifth of bourbon from a bottle, passing around reefer and smoking it, and picking out of her pinky what looks to be cocaine, and licking it. So my mind went right to, well, duh, there's your blackout. And I just didn't. I was at a place personally that I apologize for, that I saw with United States of Terror. We were out here talking about every episode, using it as a tool, a launching pad to generate conversation, experience. And I thought, man, if someone like Steven Spielberg and Diablo Cody and all these great writers have all these research groups and focus groups, and they have the expert pioneer doctors of multiplicity, Dr. Richard Clough and Dr. Colin Ross, and they have an expertive specialized consultant who was just diagnosed with DID and quickly integrated consulting. And they have all these people, and they're still riding it off the crazy train and making me want to go hide in the closet and making it worse. What the hell is this going to do if it starts off that way? So I was thinking, oh, holy crap, Dr. Oswald, known for his research with hallucinogens and hypnosis, and his experimenting with acid with Timothy Leary and all them, and kind of depressed and disillusioned with his with the whole psychiatry profession when he meets her. And she's this beautiful exotic dancer who is drinking and smoking reefer and doing something with her finger there, and her tasting. And well, I was wrong. And the movie shows that she is a reefer smoker, she is a drinker, but the kind of blackouts that she's having are totally not having anything to do with alcohol use or drugs. And that's what probably keeps confusing it. So in 2011, I bought the DVD, and I also downloaded it from torrent, and that broke my computer. I watched it 8 times the other day, and I cried the first 2 times I watched it. I was like, no. Because I could never get past that first few scenes. I was like, I just can't even. Now I'd have to say, every media depiction has its place. The United States of Terror, I'm sure, had its purpose. It got people talking. It also made me want to go hide in the corner of my closet towards the end. But Frankie and Alice was the movie that I think the majority of the population of people out there have been waiting for. It's another look. It's a simpler look. It squashes the myths that are rigidly held onto in the models that are in the textbooks. The models that came from the original thought of going all the way back to Dr. Morton Prince, who looked at the disintegration of personality and coined the phrase multiple personality, and then Dr. Cornelia Wilbur, who sat as a student and fan and then presented the late Shirley Ardell Mason and integrating her personality, which we know never happened the way the movie showed in the book. But it was this thought that you had to have a certain amount of trauma and continued repeated trauma and life events from the age of 0 to 6-ish when personality was developing. And no, personality continues to develop. Now, there's certain things that are in the core of your behaviors and coping mechanisms by the time you usually get to kindergarten. There's things that you continue to learn. But I think in psychiatry, holding close to that by kindergarten, the personality is, the main core personality is developed. They were also able to say if there's interruptions in that with so much trauma and abuse and this and that, that then the personality doesn't develop whole. It comes apart, and it's off over here and over here with different memories, and it all has to come together, so it has to be integrated. So they made a treatment model while they made a condition. And that's what I've been saying over and over again. It's not that I don't believe that multiplicity exists, or that we don't disassociate, or that it's not on a continuum. It's that it was made into a model that was convenient. One way. Frankie and Alice shatters those models. It shows that any wound, any trauma, any wound, anything that hurts us so deeply, that causes such extreme grief and loss and fear at any age, and as perfectly developed as you get at any age, can end up with more than one with you to survive. And I really hope everyone will go see the movie. It looks at family dynamics, it looks at race, it looks at bigotry, it looks at how people operate when they're in fear and they really love each other and they want to protect each other. It looks at a time period that was outrageous in the South and in the 70s too. And it looks at how psychiatry also perceived young black women, especially if they were impoverished and dancing for a living. Dr. Oz, or Dr. Oswald, is a tender, gentle, inquisitive, passionate doctor who doesn't lead or suggest in any way. Now, there's areas of the movie where he's using hypnosis, and that kind of bugged me a bit. But once I got past that, he still wasn't suggesting during that hypnosis. I still think this movie was I just hope to God it gets the time in the theater it needs, and the presence of people actually going to the theater, and the downloads of the buying of the videos. So Halle Berry plays Francine Lucinda Murdoch. Stellan Skarsgård brilliantly plays Dr. Joseph Oswald, who passed away in 2001, and Felicia Rashad plays Edna, Frankie's mom, and Chandra Wilson plays Maxine, her sister. And it's set in Savannah, Georgia, and Los Angeles, and it is a remarkable movie. And I don't know, put posters up in your school, take your friends, if there's any support groups, personal, that you go to, go as a group, put up events, and go. At your MySpace or Facebook or wherever you go in groups. I wish we had a campaign like churches had when Mel Gibson's movie The Passion of Christ came out, where tickets were sold in advance, and I wish we really had that, because I really do believe this is why this movie was shelved. It's going to change the way people think about mental illness. It's going to leave people inspired, hopeful. It's going to leave people with an understanding that it's not insane at all, that it is a reaction, a normal reaction to a very horrendous situation. Okay, take care and have a happy spring, and go see Frankie and Alice at the theaters April 4th, or buy the DVD, download it, or do what you gotta do, but pay the money for it. It's well worth the money. And I'm sorry I was so poo-poo about it in 2010. It's a great movie. Take care. Bye-bye.